Hey, you guys. Welcome to Talk About It Thursdays. I am your host, Karen Bailey. Let me know when you're on. I would love to say hello to you guys. We'll give everybody just a few minutes to get on the live, and then we'll get started for today. I hope you guys are having an amazing Thursday. It's countdown, you guys, to the holiday weekend. I hope everybody has some wonderful plans in store for 4th of July holiday, and everybody is going to have time to get a little bit of rest maybe, but also have some time to just sit back and enjoy yourself and do some things that you like to do. And hopefully the heat won't ruin it for everybody. I know some people can't tolerate the kind of heat that we're having right now, but I pray it'll have a wonderful effect and everybody will be able to get some rest and get to enjoy your family and just have some downtime. You guys, last week we talked about living your best life, and we talked about different elements of that and what you have to do, to figure out where you're at and where you want to be in your life. And I hope you guys got some information from that. I hope you guys kind of saw yourself and saw where you were stuck. And I hope it motivated you guys to want to do something different so that you don't feel like you're just wasting time, so that you don't feel like you're stuck, so you don't feel like that this is all that life has in store for you. So I hope that kind of jump-started some of us to try to do better and try to live our best life and try to make different decisions, try to get around people that are doing the things that we want to do. So I hope that that was enough to just give you a little nudge and help you to see where you're at in your own life. So you guys, let's get started today. Today we want to talk about, sis, they ain't your friends. All of us have been fooled at one time or another by somebody that we thought was a friend, and we've been hurt when we found out that they weren't. And sometimes you can be so kind-hearted, you're a better friend to people than they are to you. So that's what we want to talk about today. Being able to recognize who's really your friend and who's not. And then learn to deal with people accordingly. There's nothing wrong with having friends and associates. You just have to know the difference. And the definition of a friend is a person that you know and that you have a mutual bond of affection with. That person loves you just like you love them. That's a friend. And then an associate is someone you may or may not hang around with for whatever reason. You may not be that close, or, you may be a friend of a friend, but it's just that person that you hang out with sometimes, you might spend some time with, but you don't have that connection. You don't have that mutual love and that mutual bond for one another. And there's nothing wrong with having associates. You just can't get them mixed up with friends, and you have to understand the difference, because you expect different things from your friends than you do from associates, because your friends, you put them on a higher level. You put them on a higher level of respect and responsibility when it comes to your friendship. When it's an associate, there's a limitation of what you expect them to do, what you expect to receive, and what even you will give to them. So that's the difference between being a friend and being an associate. And sometimes we get it twisted, because sometimes we can be fooled into thinking somebody's really our friend, and then you get into one fight or get into one difference of opinion, and you find out that that person was not for you like you thought that they were. So in order to begin living our best lives, we have to begin by looking at our inner circle. We talked about that last week. You always got to check yourself first. Before you check anybody else, check yourself and see who you've been dealing with. See who you've been spending time with. See who's been influencing your life. And if you want better, sometimes that's going to require you to get away from some of those people that have literally been holding you back. And knowing our strengths and our weaknesses is essential for us to move on to bigger and better. And we have to know what friends we can count on for what. We need to know what friends are going to be able to be a support for this, what friends we can tell certain things to. You know, we all have people in our lives that we know can't hold water. And so we love them the same, but we know that we can't tell our personal things to them. We know that we can't tell our secret things to them. And we love them the same, but when you become friends with people, you know their strengths and you learn their weaknesses and you deal with them accordingly. And as we grow and mature, God doesn't always let everybody grow with us. Sometimes he makes us leave people behind, not because we're better than they are, but sometimes we just outgrow them. Sometimes they're stuck on one level that you've graduated from, and you're in a class being bored, basically. It's like a child that's too smart to be in the grade that they're in. They're there, but they're bored. They're not using their full potential. So sometimes when God feels like you're stuck and you're just there, you're just kind of like a plane, you're taxiing, but you're not taking off, you're not soaring, you're not doing what you need to do. Sometimes God will remove people out of your life that make it comfortable for you to just keep taxiing, rather than people that push you and motivate you to take a jump and leap out there and do something better. So God has to sometimes let you leave people behind. Not that you don't love them, but sometimes you just need to move on. And there are people out there that will pretend to be your friends. We call those frenemies. You know, there are people that you have something they need, or you're popular, or people seem to flock to you and they want some of your spirit. There are people that will literally surround you and spend time with you that don't even like you. And that's what we call a frenemy. You know, they're watching you, they're studying you. But a lot of times a frenemy is just waiting for you to make that mistake so they can exploit that mistake. So they can say, you know, see, Karen wasn't what y'all thought she was. See, y'all thought she was Miss Goody Two Shoes. That kind of person makes those kind of remarks that are just waiting for you to fail and just watching your every move. You know, those are those frenemies that we've got to be careful of, and we've got to know who's in our inner circle and who's for us and who's against us, because some people actually brighten the room when they enter it, and some people brighten the room when they leave. You know, we've all known people that when we see them coming, we're like, oh boy, here she comes. You know, you may not even say it out loud, but sometimes your eyes, sometimes your shift in your stance will tell it. Sometimes, you know, just people dropping their head will let you know that that person doesn't brighten the room. They don't make situations better. Sometimes their presence is a negative thing that brings everybody down. And then there are some people that you're so glad when they do finally leave the room, simply because now, you know, the atmosphere can be happy again. Now we don't have to deal with drama. Now, you know, we can be ourselves and actually have a good time without somebody being offended. And we all know people like that you have to be walking on eggshells around simply because they're quick to get a misunderstanding, or they're quick to get their feelings hurt when people are just joking with them. And those are those people that we say can either brighten a room by walking in or brighten a room by walking out. And there are certain things that we need. We all have these basic needs that we need from our true friends, from the people that say that they love you, from the people that you have that mutual bond with, of friendship, of love. There's some things that are just basic that should come along with your friendship. And if you're not getting these things from your friendships, you need to check it and see if they're more associates or if they're truly your friends. The first thing that we all need from our friends is comfort. When we're hurting, we don't need somebody to remind us of what we did wrong. We don't need somebody to remind us with the I told you so's. We need somebody that will come to us whenever we call them and say, hey, I'm here for you. Give me a hug. What is it? What's going on? Don't worry about it. I got you. That's that comfort that comes from a true friend. They know, hey, Johnny, they know when you're in trouble, their only goal is to be a comfort to you. So that's a basic thing that you should be able to expect from any of your friends, that they be a comfort, that they don't make you feel bad about your situation, but they come to console you. They come to be a support system for you. They come to try to help the situation be just a little bit better simply because they showed up. That's when you know you've got a true friend, because they come in and first thing they do is they look for you. When there's a problem or when they know you're in trouble, they try to find you. They're not trying to talk to nobody else. They're not going to be satisfied till they lay their eyes on you or lay their hands on you to be able to hug you or be able to say, hey, come here, what's going on? Talk to me, what's going on? That's a true friend, because their whole goal is to comfort you and be there in your time of need. Another thing we should be able to accept from our friends or expect is some peace. You know, if people are supposed to be your friends, they shouldn't be dumping on you. They shouldn't be wearing you out with their problems. You know, your peace should be just as important to them as their own peace, because it does matter. Because you're a better friend when you're not being worn out all the time, when you're not being dumped on all the time. Because a lot of times when you're a good listener, people take advantage of you. And that's not a true friend, because a true friend will say, hey, you know what? Enough about me. Girl, what's going on with you? Oh, dude, what's going on with you? You know, a true friend will sense when they're overwhelming you. They'll be able to look at you. They'll be able to look at your facial expression, your body language. They'll be able to tell that you need a timeout. You need a break. Hey, let's go have a drink. Hey, let's go get our nails done. Hey, let's go to the pool. Let's go for a walk. They'll be able to sense it. And that's when you know that somebody's really in tune with you and somebody is really for you, because they can sense when something is not right with you. They can sense when your peace is not right. And that's when you know you've got a true friend. You don't even have to tell them when something is wrong. You can lie and say nothing's wrong, and they'll be able to look at you and say, you know what? Something's not right. You're not acting like yourself. That's that peace that your friends are supposed to bring into your life. Even when you don't want to admit something's wrong, those friends that truly know you should be able to pick up and sense those things. Another thing you should be able to expect from a true friend is protection and security. You shouldn't have to worry about you talking to your friend and your friend going around telling somebody else what y'all talked about. There should be a sense of protection that you are safe with your friends. If they're truly your friends, there should be nothing you can't say in front of them. There should be no reason for you to worry, you know, when they're around, that you know, everybody's going to find out your business. If you got to worry about that, that's not truly your friend, because a friend is not going to do anything to hurt you. If anything, they're going to do what they got to do to try to protect you, and they're not going to let anybody else sit around and talk about you either. So we should expect protection and security from our friends, and it should be a safe space where you could tell somebody something that you can't tell anybody else. You ought to be able to tell that to one of your friends. Things you can't tell your family, things you can't tell your spouse. Oh, hey, Johnny. Hey, Tasha. Things you can't tell your spouse, things you can't tell anybody else. If you've got a true friend, you ought to be able to talk to somebody. You know, a lot of times people are depressed or are thinking of hurting themselves. You ought to be able to have somebody that you feel secure enough with to know that they're not going to judge you, that they're going to love you, that they're going to support you and try to help get you the help that you need. So you should expect that from a true friend, protection and security. Another thing you should expect is positivity. You know, there's nothing like a friend that can bring you up when you're down in the dumps. That's a true friend. A friend that can look at you and say, oh, no, we're not having this today. You too blessed for this. No, come on, get up. When you want to lay around all the time, you want to feel sorry for yourself all the time, a true friend is not going to allow you to dwell in negativity for very long. We all dip in and out of negativity depending on what's going on. Nobody can say they're 100% positive all the time, but a true friend is going to pick up on that and say, no, you're going to have to get up. Come on and get dressed. Let's do this. Let's do that. Come on. You're not being yourself. Come on. It's not as bad as you think it is. So that's that positivity that you need from a friend. You don't need anybody that's going to jump in on a pity party with you. That's not helping anything. They're sure not helping you be better. And everybody in your life, everybody that you surround yourself with ought to be making your life better, or you need to part ways. You know, there's no sense in wasting time and spending time with people that aren't even helping you advance as a person. It's okay to love them from a distance, but they should not be your immediate inner circle. If they're not getting better and you're not getting better, then y'all are stagnant. And sometimes you have to break away from that particular circle. So positivity, you should expect that from your friend. Another thing we need from our friends is encouragement. You know, when we have an idea or we want to try something, our friends ought to be behind us saying, girl, you know, you're smart. You can do this. You know, what do you need me to do? What do you need me to research for you so you can get this done? That's the encouragement that we all need from our friends. We don't need anybody telling us what we can't do, what we're too old to do, what we should have done a long time ago. You waited too long. Nobody needs to hear all of that. Your friends should believe in you. Your friends should be the ones pushing you forward, saying, you know what, girl, go ahead and go for it. Try it. You know, the worst thing that can happen is you fail. But you know what? If you fail, get back up and try it again. That's that encouragement that we all need from our friends. And then love is another thing. You should expect love from your true friends. When you hurt, they should hurt. I'm not saying just because you're crying, they should be crying, but they should care when you're hurt. They should be concerned when they don't hear from you. They should be, you know, upset when you're upset. Not to the point where, you know, they talk you into doing anything stupid, but the fact that you're hurting, the fact that you're angry and upset should bother them as well, to the point where they want to help you get back to your peaceful place, whatever that takes in your life. And that's that love. And that love is also there when you mess up. You know, a lot of times we're afraid to let anybody see that we mess up because people are so quick to put their mouths on you when they've got a bunch of skeletons in their own closet. So a friend is going to give you that unconditional love. If don't nobody else love you but God, your friend is supposed to love you. Your friend is supposed to stick by you. Whether you're right or wrong, she's going to tell you that you're wrong, but that doesn't mean she stops loving you. That doesn't mean she throws you away. And love is one of those things when y'all fight. If you truly got a friend that loves you, they're not going to be able to stay away from you. They're not going to be able to stay angry with you for long periods of time. They're going to want to resolve this and get back to where y'all used to be, because they have that love for you, because they need you and they know that you need them. And so true friendship, true love is that kind of love that no matter what happens, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm your ride or die, as they say. When you have a true friend, there's really nothing you can do to make them walk away from you or to make them not want to be a friend to you, simply because they love you enough to know that you're human, that you're going to make mistakes, they're going to make mistakes, and that we all need one another. The next thing we need from our friends is affirmations. You know, a lot of times, you know, we go through life and we're working hard. We're doing the best that we can. And nobody tells us that we're doing a good job. Nobody tells us thank you. Nobody says, sis, I appreciate you. Just your personality, just your character sis, keep being the kind of person you are. I love the way people love you. A lot of times you don't hear those things, and you're doing your best to be the best person you can be. And sometimes it just seems like nobody's paying attention, that nobody cares, that you're always trying to be positive, that you're always the peacemaker, or that you're always the one that tries to help a situation be better. And sometimes you need your friends to affirm you and say, girl, God just really bless you with the spirit that you have. Sometimes I just don't even know how you do it. You smile and you brighten a room, this, that, and the other. You should hear those things from your friends if you don't hear it from anybody else. Friends should not be jealous of one another. When you shine, they shine. And they should encourage you to shine as brightly as possible without feeling intimidated by your shine. And that's those words of affirmation, just reminding us of who we are, because we all forget sometimes when life is kind of beating up on us a little bit. Sometimes we forget who we are, and it's those friends that remind you that you're strong, that you're confident, that you're beautiful, that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Those are those words that you need to hear from your friends, those scriptures they send you, just out of nowhere when you're going through something. That's that friend that can sense that something's going on with you and that you need a pick-me-up so that you can hold your head up and walk the way you need to walk. That's those words of affirmation, and your friends should be the ones who want to give those things to you because they want to see you happy, and they want to see you prospering, and they want to see you blessed. Another thing we should expect from people we call friends is understanding. Everybody, makes a mistake every once in a while just in how they talk to people. Have you ever sent a text message and you didn't mean it the way that it came off, and somebody just came back and just fired on you? And you're like, what in the world is wrong with them? And then you read the message and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't really mean it like that. And that person's still just going off on you, and you trying to explain to them, that hold up, I didn't mean it. I should have said it like blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't have to do all of that if somebody's truly your friend. Because if somebody gets a message from you and they don't like the way it sounds, or it seems like you being a little fly or whatever, a true friend will pick up that phone and call you and say, okay, what kind of mood you in today? What's got you all upset today? They're going to try to get some type of understanding of what's going on with you. They're not going to just write that off and be quick to try to jump into an argument with you. That's not a true friend, because your true friends know your personality, and they would read something and say, you know what, this don't even sound like her. Let me call her and let me see what's going on with her. She must be having a bad day to send me something like this. And they want to get an understanding. People that are quick to have their feelings on their shoulders, or are quick to be offended, stay away from those people, because those people can never be a true friend, because they always have that spirit of offense on them. So it doesn't take much for that spirit of offense to jump up and say, oh, okay, there it is. I was waiting on that. Be careful of people like that you always have to apologize to. You always have to explain everything to. That is so exhausting. You can't even crack a joke with them. Those people are not your friends, sis, if they want to fire back at you all the time, or they're quick to get an attitude with you. You've got to know the difference between people truly being your friends and people being your associates. Sympathy is another thing you should be able to have from your friends. When you make a bad decision and something goes wrong in your life, they should not be running up to you saying, see, I told you not to do this. Why you don't never listen to nobody, blah, 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 just going off on you. You feel bad enough. Sometimes it's good to just show up and just sit down and just hold somebody's hand, because they feel bad enough when they made the mistake. Yes, they know that you told them not to do it. Yes, you told them about him. Yes, you told him about her. All of that. They understand that, but that's not what they need at the time when they're hurting. That's not what they need at a time when they are their lowest. They need a friend with some sympathy. Somebody that'll come in and say, girl, I got you. I'm going to sit here You ain't even got to say nothing. I got you. We'll just sit here. You want to come over and watch movies? I'll bring some wine. Don't even have to talk about it. Because sometimes you're already dealing with enough. And the last thing you need is somebody to remind you of what a big mistake you've made. Sometimes you just need somebody to show up and just have some compassion and some sympathy for you. And then honesty. That's another thing that we should expect, no doubt, from anybody that says that they're our friends. And we got to be careful about saying we want honesty, because you won't always like when somebody's being honest with you, especially if they disagree with you. But you're not a good friend if you get mad at somebody else for being honest with you. So you need to check yourself and make sure that you're being as good a friend as that person that's willing to step out there and be completely honest with you about whatever situation is going on. And so we have to expect that from our friends, to tell us when we're right and tell us when we're wrong. And we have to be willing to accept that. So those are the basic things that we all should expect from our friends. And that's a true friendship. And so there's benefits, to having good friends. Friends help you celebrate things, the good times in your life. And they provide support during the bad times. Friends prevent you from feeling isolated and lonely. Being single is not a curse, you guys. Sometimes people try to make us think that being single is like, ooh, all of a sudden everybody's like, ooh, you got to be connected with somebody. Ooh, you got to be booed up with somebody. No, you don't. All you need is some good friends and a good support system. Wait on God to send you the person that you need in your life. But build up your friendships while you're single. Build up things about your own life. Build your own character while you're single. Being single is not a curse, you guys. That's your time to figure out who you are, to figure out who your true friends are, and to figure out which direction you want your life to go. So friends are there, and they prevent you from isolating yourself and feeling lonely. And friends give you a chance to offer needed companionship, because just like you need somebody, they need somebody. So that companionship works both ways. Whether they're married or whether you're married, you still need companionship from your friends. You can't always be with your spouse all the time or your loved one all the time. It's good to have friends that can get you away and do something different sometimes. So they provide that much needed companionship. And friends increase your sense of belonging and your purpose. When you've got good friends, they make you want to do better. They make you want to do more. They make you see that you're not just here to be wasting space. You have a purpose for your life. God put you here for a reason. And when you've got good friends, everybody is trying to walk in their purpose. Everybody is trying to walk in a way that's pleasing to God. Everybody is trying to be the best version of themselves. That's when you know you've got good friends. And then friends enrich your life, and friendships also improve your health. There's been studies about people's health when they're isolated and people's health when they're surrounded by friends and loved ones and have good relationships. You tend to be healthier. You tend to think better. You tend to be more of a positive person. You tend to be a more loving person and a more grateful person when you've got good relationships in your life. And there's 3 most important things in a friendship. Number 1, acceptance. We all have an emotional need for interpersonal relationships and being affiliated and being connected and being part of a group. And we all want to be accepted, and friends accept you for who you are. They don't try to make you over and try to make you something you're not in order for you to be allowed to be around them. If you're dealing with that, and people want you to be different, or they want you to have a certain status, or they want you to belong to this club, that club, all of that, in order to be your friends, those are associates. Your friends accept you for who you are, how you are, and they want nothing but the best for you. So they accept you simply because they love you, the person that you are, not who they're trying to turn you into, or not a status, that's going to make them look good. Hey, Kathy. And so another thing that's really important in friendship is trust. Like I said before, if you can't be honest with anybody else, if you can't trust anybody else, you ought to be able to trust that friend. That friend ought to be that person that you can call when you crave intimacy. A lot of times people have perverted intimacy, but intimacy is simply having that time, that time of connection, that time of closeness. And so much on social media doesn't even talk about intimacy anymore. And I wish they would talk about how important that is in your friendships, how important that is with your children, how important that is in your marriage. Because intimacy is that time where all the pretense comes off. You're yourself. You are your naked self before that person, and that person is their naked self before you. And it takes trust to be intimate with somebody. You have to prove to be trustworthy before you can get to a level of intimacy in your friendships. You can't just do that with any and everybody. And I feel so sorry for some of the young ladies now. They try so hard to be intimate with people that just aren't into them. And they end up getting hurt. They end up giving their bodies and giving their emotions to people that aren't even interested in knowing the real person, what's inside of you, that naked part of you, that part that makeup and hair won't cover up. That's that intimacy you ought to be able to have with your friends. You ought to be able to be yourself with your friends if you can't be yourself with nobody else. Same thing in a marriage. Your husband needs to be that person where you can have a screaming, crying fit and say whatever you got to say. And he say, you know what, baby, are you done? You okay? You got that out? You feel better? That's that intimacy where you're so close to that person, where you're so open with that person, and y'all have a understanding with one another, and it's a safe place. You don't have to worry about them rejecting you, them walking away from you, them leaving you. That's that trust in a friendship that you have. Whatever you have to say to them or whatever you share with them should not make them want to walk away from you or judge you or mistreat you in some type of way. That's that trust that we all need in our friendships. The third thing that's so important is support. You need support. Even if you don't agree with a decision that I've made, at least be supportive and say, okay, have you thought this out? Okay, if you've thought it out, if you've made up your mind this is what you want to do, I'm here for you. I'm behind you 100% if this is what you want to do. Because number one, it's your life. My job is to be there for you in the good times and in the bad times, when you're up and when you're down, when you're climbing and when you're stumbling. That's a friend. That's that support. And you need to be able to expect that from your friends, that they're going to be there for you when you're up on the mountain, and they're going to be down off in there with you when you get in the valley. You shouldn't have to wonder who's going to be there for me if this doesn't work out. If you've got to wonder that, then you've got more associates than you do friends. And friends should boost your happiness and reduce your stress. And that's another thing. If somebody is in your life that you call a friend and all they do is bring stress, all they do is bring drama, all they do is want to talk about themselves all the time, everything's about them, everything's about their situation, they're not truly being a friend to you, because they're just using you as a sounding board. They just need to dump on somebody to make them feel better. And that's not what a friend does. A friend wants you to be at peace just like they want to have peace. So they're going to be careful with things of that nature. And it's imperative that we identify who our friend is and who's just an associate. So how to recognize who is your friend and who is your frenemy? Because before I told you, there are people that are going to be around you and they look good, they laugh with you, but they're watching you the whole time. Watching you. As long as things going good, they kick you in with you. But as soon as you mess up, they're going to be the first one to want to run and tell everybody. They're going to be the first one to want to have a front row seat to your failure. That's a frenemy. And sometimes it's hard to tell if they're your friend or your frenemy because they've been in your life so long. I've had friends that actually turned into frenemies simply because maybe something in my life turned out a little bit better than theirs, or maybe, I didn't make a decision that maybe they thought I should have made. And I've had people literally just completely turn on me, don't even speak to me, or just act all kinds of sideways towards me simply because I didn't agree with them, or I didn't, take their suggestion on something. That's a frenemy. That's a frenemy. They're showing you who they are, how they react. It's about those little looks. It's about those little snide remarks and that little shade that they're throwing. They're letting you know what they are. But a lot of times we try to see the best in everybody when the enemy tries to show you, I'm here. That little comment, I'm here. I'm not for you. Wait till something happens. I'll be the first one to go tell everybody. So y'all better recognize who's really for you and who's not. And the best way to find out is to ask God. Learn to pray to God for discernment. And I'm asking God all the time, God, discern who's for me. I don't care how they smile at me. I don't care, how they're all up in my face. I don't care how many of my friends they're friends with. Show me when people are not for me so that I can handle them accordingly. I won't mistreat them, but I also won't be intimate with them or try to be intimate with them. And I won't share my secret things with them. So ask God and pray for discernment. And a lot of us, God has had to deliver us out of the mouth of the lion. And the mouth of the lion was some of our friends or some of our frenemies as well. Sometimes we've trusted the wrong people. Sometimes we've taken the wrong advice. Sometimes we've tried to follow, in with the crowd, and it's got us in trouble. And God has had to deliver us out. You ladies, sometimes we try to follow the trend. This friend, she's spending money, she buying this purse, that purse, these shoes, that car, and you feel obligated because you want to fit in, and you start spending money you don't have because you're trying to fit in. Now she's got other friends that spend like she does, has what she does, but if she's truly your friend, she'll be your friend whether you have what she has or not. And that won't matter. Material things won't matter if she's truly your friend. So a lot of us have even gotten into debt trying to compete with other people or trying to keep up with other people that are in a different place financially than you are. There's no shame in not being on the level of your friends. If your friends have more than you, then cool. Be happy for them. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't make you jealous, because if you're jealous, you're truly not a friend. Hey, Pam. And a lot of times people who you thought were your friends will switch up. Like I said, have a disagreement with them and you'll find out how people really feel about you. Have a little alcohol and you'll find out how people really feel about you. It's amazing how people say those things when they get comfortable or when they get relaxed or even when they get angry. And one thing I've learned, when people can curse you out, call you out your name and threaten you when they get angry with you, that's how they've been feeling all the time. They've just been repressing that. And that's something that we don't need to ignore, because a true friend will never step to you like that. A true friend doesn't harbor those names about you or calling you things that you ain't never heard anybody else call you before. That's not a true friend. That's somebody that has some animosity towards you, and they've been faking and shaking until a situation came up and then they just let it all go. So recognize it for what it is and deal with it accordingly. And it matters how you feel but we all need to recognize that it matters how the other person feels too. So you have to be careful that you're not a frenemy, because sometimes we can be all caught up in ourselves and something go on and all we worry about is our feelings. You can't do that when you're friends. You always have to consider, yeah, that hurt my feelings, but how did she feel as well? If you're truly somebody's friend, you're going to consider that. Once the smoke settles down, consider the fact that, you know what, just like that upset me, when I said that, that upset her. So I was as wrong as she was. And being able to go back and apologize, that's true friendship. Because you're going to make a mistake. You're not going to get along all the time. But the fact that you love that person so much that you want to make it right, that's when you know you're truly somebody's friend. So be careful that you're not that imposter that's in there that's making somebody feel like that you're there for them and you're truly not. Okay? And then reciprocity is another one of those things. You can tell when somebody's your frenemy when they don't reciprocate. When everything is all about you giving to them, give. Everything is about their needs. Everything is about their emotions. Everything is about coming to their house. Everything is about going where they want to go, but they can't consider or even reciprocate some of the things that you do for them. They're not your friend. They're more or less your associate. They might not be your frenemy, but they're not as for you as you think they are. Because true relationships, you have to give back in order for them to survive. There is no way that one person can give and give and give and give and give and that relationship stays strong. Because you're going to wear that one person out. It's a balance to it. You need to make sure that you're being as good a friend as that person is to you. Okay? And like I said, resolution is you want to resolve any issues. That's when you know somebody's truly your friend. If somebody can be mad at you for weeks and months and years, they were never your friend in the first place. That's when you know you had a Judas in the midst, because if they can fall out with you and stay mad at you, your friendship didn't mean that much to them anyway. You know, the few friends that I truly call friends, I can't be mad at them for long. Because it would hurt me to be angry with them. It would hurt me to have a misunderstanding and not work that out. I hate misunderstandings. I hate arguing. I hate confusion. And so when somebody's really important to me, I don't care if you don't answer your phone. You don't answer your phone, I'm coming to your house. You're not at home, I'm coming by your job. You're going to see me face to face, because that relationship means so much to me and I love you so much. We're going to work this thing out, whether you want to or not. That's when you know somebody is truly for you, because they can't allow that animosity to be in your heart and they can't allow it to be in theirs. Okay? Now, people that are truly your enemy or your frenemy, they don't mind talking behind your back. They have no problem with getting in conversations where people are saying negative things about you. Even though they're supposed to be your friend, they don't have any issues with it. They right in the midst of it, listening to everything. And then they tend to envy you and be jealous of you. And they have a hard time, celebrating with you. They have a hard time being honest with their joy. They can put on a fake smile and go, girl, all right now. Okay, look at you. They say little things like that, but you can sense that it's not genuine. They don't know how to express genuine joy because the jealousy is so much stronger in their spirit. And then number 3, they always ask for favors. They always need something from you, but can never do anything for you. And their emotions and their needs always constantly outweigh yours. They're always more important than what you got going on. And then they only want to talk about themselves. We said that earlier. And they're not happy about your achievements. And they have that passive aggressive thing where they're always telling, girl, I was just playing, making little sly remarks, throwing that shade at you. And then when they see that you're upset, then it's always, girl, I was just playing. You know I didn't mean it. I was just playing. Watch out for people like that. That's always got a little jokey joke and always got something smart to say until you get upset. Those people are not your friend. And watch out for people that criticize you and criticize you harshly, but then cover it up, saying, "Well, girl, I was just trying to help you be better." Watch out for people like that. And their jokes are actually hurtful, and then they get shocked when you get offended. Watch out for people like that. Their friendships make you feel bad. Anybody that you dread having to spend time with, I don't care how long you've known them, if they've got that personality about them that's just draining, that just wears you out, you have got to limit your time with that person. It doesn't matter if you've known them since you were in the first grade. Sometimes we just outgrow people. Sometimes people like being miserable, you guys. And you got to be careful so you don't get pulled into that negativity and pulled into woe is me and having to listen to all of that. If you feel bad after spending time with somebody, or you dread seeing somebody, or you see their number on the caller ID and it makes you sigh and you go, "Man, I don't have time for this today," that person is not truly your friend. You've outgrown that person, and you need to be okay with that. You don't owe anybody anything. The Bible says, "Owe no man anything but love." That's all you owe anybody. You don't owe anybody your time. You don't owe your sacrifice of listening to somebody that's always negative just because they say they're your friend. You don't owe them that. You owe them nothing but love. Okay? And if a person doesn't value your peace, your time, your feelings, or even your money, they're not your friends. Your peace. They'll call and disturb you unnecessarily. They'll call you at work just to gossip. They'll call you because they're upset about something when they know you need to be focusing and concentrating instead of waiting for you to get off from work. That person is not truly your friend because they don't value your peace, or they know that you've worked hard all day. Hey, Vanita, worked hard all day, and the first thing they want to do is run over to your house and, "Girl, let's go so-and-so and so-and-so." They know you've worked all day. Do they not care that you're tired? Do they not care that you haven't had dinner? But they quickly want to do what they want to do as soon as they know that you're home, or as soon as they know you clocked out from work, they're blowing up your phone with their stuff. That person is not truly your friend. Hey, Deborah, they're not truly your friend because they need to be, like I said, as careful with your peace as they are with theirs. A true friend is not going to want you to be tired, stressed out, worn out, and they sure don't want to be the source of it. So when you're somebody's friend, make sure you're not dumping on them all the time. Make sure you're a good friend. Don't do to them what you wouldn't want done to you. And you're supposed to be their sense of peace. Make their life better. Offer to buy them dinner. Offer to bring them lunch at work. Offer to go and watch their kids. Offer to do some things for them to make their life better if you're supposed to be their friend. You know what's going on in their life. And you know what they have need of. So don't let your needs be so overwhelming that you forget about your friends, because once that person is worn out and done, or they get tired of being your friend, it's going to be hard to find somebody else that's going to be there for you, or somebody that's going to take the place of that person, especially if they were a good friend that you just dumped on. So we got to learn how to value people and understand that people get tired just like you do. So be mindful of that. And then they don't value your time. A lot of times people will try to hold you on the phone for hours and hours like you don't have a life. And that's not being a true friend. Recognize, hey, she got other things to do. Let's catch up right quick 30-minute conversation. Let that person go so they can do what they need to do. They can't always be there just for you. No matter what you're going through, you cannot take up somebody's whole evening with your stuff, because it's not fair, because now they've neglected themselves, they've neglected their families, all trying to be there for you. You need to be a better friend than that, because the way we make decisions, hey William, we make decisions, and when things fall apart, it's nobody's responsibility but ours. So quit trying to make it everybody's responsibility to make you feel better about your decision that didn't work out. And I'm talking to myself too. Let's be better friends than that. You know, it's one thing to say, hey, you know what? I'm going through this right now, sis. Will you have some time this weekend? Or bro, will you have some time this weekend? Can we go get a beer? Or can we go play basketball? Or can we go for a walk? Or, you know, understand people's time is important, and people have other things to do besides take care of you. And we've got to be better friends and recognize that and understand that we're grown-ups. We are supposed to be able to handle our own issues, but it's nice to have a friend to be there for support, but don't wear them out just because they're there. Okay? And then when they don't care about your feelings, and that's the thing, you know, sometimes people think that they can talk to you any kind of way simply because they're your friend. No, you've got to respect me just like I respect you. Hold up. I know we've been friends, but you're not going to keep calling me out of my name. You're not going to just say any and everything to me. Come on, respect. Come on, I want respect, you get respect. Those things go both ways. So don't allow people to just mistreat you and talk to you any kind of way because they feel like you're not going to go anywhere. Now, you put a pin in that. You stop that. You get respect on every level. From your children, from your spouse, and from your friends. Everybody owes you that respect, just like you owe them that respect. So if somebody's not concerned about your feelings, then they're not truly your friends. Okay? And everything can't be about you. And understand that just like you have things that go on in your life, you have things that hurt you, you have things that make you tired, make you sad. Check on your friends sometimes and say, hey girl, you know I've been dealing with my stuff and I thank you for being there, being supportive for me. But sis, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you okay? Is there anything you need from me? That's when you know you have a true friend, when they recognize and they appreciate that you've been there for them, but they also realize you're human too. You're going through stuff too. So I need to check on Karen too, just like Karen been checking on me. You know, I need to do for her just like she's been doing for me. That's that law of reciprocity. That's how you build strong friendships that last. It's because you respect one another. You understand that we all go through things, and sometimes we can handle it by ourselves and sometimes we need a little bit of support. But you recognize that it can't all be about me all the time. My friend needs me too. So that's when you know you've got a true friend. And like I said before, a person that is not willing to apologize or not willing to resolve a conflict with you, they don't value your friendship. They don't really love you, because if they can stay mad at you, or they can side with other people that don't like you and start talking about you, start posting crazy stuff and throwing shade on you, that person, you need to cut that relationship, because even when you let them back, it's never going to be right. It's never going to be right, because anybody that can hurt you, and I had to learn this in marriage, anybody that can hurt you and feel okay about it, it's not your friend. Anybody that can hurt you and switch sides on you and not talk to you for long periods of time, not care what's going on with you, not care, if things are going bad in your life or going good in your life, that person don't really care about you. That's just an associate. And so you need to deal with them accordingly. And anybody that's okay with ineffective communication, with hanging up on you and cursing you out, this, that, and the other, that's not your friend. And anybody that does not value your money, like I said before, anybody that's pulling you along, knowing you can't afford to spend like they spend, and is not being sensitive to that and makes you feel bad because you can't do the stuff that they can do, That's not your friend. They're trying to compete with you. They're trying to show you that you're not as good as they are. They doing that, throwing that shade on you, trying to make you feel bad about yourself. That person is not your friend. You want somebody that understands where you are financially and respects that, and you understand where they are, and you understand that just because they've got more going for them financially, you don't have to try to keep up. That's not part of your friendship. Competing with each other is not a friendship. That's an associate. That is not a friendship. Okay? So you the one that's got to recognize when people are and when they aren't your friends. And they'll give you the signs. We just all have to pay attention and get our feelings out of it. And my final thought, you guys, is don't stay connected just because of familiarity or codependency. Make up your mind you deserve to be around positive people who motivate you and who help you become the best person that you can be. It's okay to love everybody. It's okay to even love your associates. But make sure you understand that everyone ain't your friend, sis, and deal with them accordingly. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your time. You guys, I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. Stay safe. Stay hydrated in this heat. There will not be a Talk About It Thursday. Next Thursday, I'm going to take a little short vacation and have some downtime, have some me time, get away for a little bit. So I will see you guys back that next week after that. God bless you guys. Love you too, Miss Deborah. Thank you guys for watching. Have a safe 4th. Love you guys. Y'all take care. Bye.